Hey there, clodhoppers. Well, I talked the other day about doing cuttings for the Rose of Sharon bushes, but today I want to show you how I'm going to take cuttings of our butterfly bush to propagate it so that we can have many more butterfly bushes around our property without having the expense of buying them all at the nursery. Hey Malachi, how does it feel to be a year and a half old? Here's the butterfly bush from which I'm going to take the cuttings today. There are still a few blooms on this particular bush, but I think we should be able to find enough branches that we can get a good cutting without having to sacrifice the blooms, because we probably do still have a few honeybees and bumblebees around that would very much enjoy those lovely blooms. I think they really like the nectar. So here I am looking at a branch. So when I select branches, if it's a short branch, I try to cut it here where the branch comes off from one of the main branches. Now this particular limb is a bit long for one cutting. I could break it into multiple cuttings, but I prefer to have a few leaves up at the top to continue the photosynthesis action to get enough food and energy stores for the plant to continue while it's putting out roots in the water. Now, whenever I take these cuttings, I usually try to get at least 6, if not 8 inches to maybe even a foot, simply because this top section of the plant is going to die back. Where you can take your finger and bend over the plant easily, that most likely is going to fall off. So that would be like a complete softwood cutting, and I don't want that because I know that that is essentially going to be sacrificed as the winks progress and while the cutting is trying to put off roots. So I can go ahead and pull that top part off now if I want, or I can just let it naturally fall off during the process. But this particular branch here is a fairly good length. And because it is meeting a main branch, sorry, there are so many leaves on the plant that my phone is having trouble focusing. Because it is connecting at this main branch, I'm going to go ahead and just take my fingers and pinch it back if I can, there at the main branch. If I can't do it, I might have to use the scissors, which for this particular one, it looks like it's going to force me to do. So, okay, and the reason I decided to cut this one at the main branch is, like we discussed with the Rose of Sharon, the cells that will have the most growth tend to be more concentrated, from what I've been told, at the point where a limb will branch out from a main stem or even a side stem. So I've had more luck taking cuttings like this. The other option is to take a cutting within the branch, and that works too. However, I tend to prefer it this way if I can find the right length branch that I can do that with. Alright, so as you saw, I removed a few of the leaves from this particular branch, and that's because you don't really want leaves underwater, because over time, because it is a process before it will finally put out roots, those leaves will essentially start disintegrating, and it can make your water murky and turn the water kind of mucky because of mold and bacterial growth. So if you remove those leaves, you just kind of help alleviate some of that, and your water stays more fresh for longer. And so there's more oxygen content in it, and the cuttings need oxygen to be able to put out roots adequately. So now what I'm going to show you is, after I've removed some leaves, I'm going to try to scratch a little bit of the bark off just to kind of stimulate it, to let it know, hey, I'm off the plant, I've been injured, I need to put out roots so that I can continue life. So basically you're kind of trying to trick it into thinking it's survival time, send out new growth. So I'm also going to go ahead, because I have a feeling these branches are going to lose their leaves too. I'm just going to snip them off. I could cut them back, but for the one side, I just snipped it off completely. The other side, I cut some of the leaves just so that there's not as many leaves on the plant. Now I could do the same with the top ones, but I think I'm just going to leave that one as it is. And I might do several different branches different ways, just to see which ones do better than others. So I've got this amber bottle, with just plain water in it, and I'm just going to stick my cutting right in there. And that's where it's going to stay. And as with the Rose of Sharon cutting, I'm just going to change the water out, preferably 2 or 3 times a week. But we'll see what life actually allows. So with this one, because this particular branch from here up is longer than what I typically like, I'm not going to cut it here where the stem meets the branch. So I'm going to choose to cut right here, right under this node. The node is right here where these 2 stems for the leaves meet the main branch. And I'm going to cut right under that because I want that node to be a place where roots will, from where the roots will grow. So I'm going to break off those bottom leaves, and the next set, butterfly bush is really easy to do that with. And I'm even going to do the next set the same way. And if we can get the phone camera to focus, you'll notice that there are buds at the nodes. If the leaf petioles were still there, then those buds would be in between that stem where the leaf comes off and the main limb there. And that's where your new growth is going to come from. So if it's underneath the water, we could just go ahead and scrape them off, or we could leave them be. But it's probably not going to grow leaves from that point if it's underwater. If it's above water, that could be where your new growth starts. So we're going to do the same with the other one, just kind of trim back some of these leaves, and then we're going to throw it in the water. I'm going to go ahead and do that with several of the limbs, and then I'll show you what we have after I'm done. And really quick, just as an interruption, I noticed while I was down here that our horsetail reed has started putting off shoots. Those 2 little shoots coming off the sides of that one main shoot, that most likely means that our plants, our cuttings, well, they're not cuttings, they were rooted, but they were shipped to us. So it looks like they have established good enough growth that they are starting to grow. I don't see any in this pot yet, but maybe they'll be following suit. Oh wait, yes I do. Right there on that one. Nice! And this is a particular variety that Marjorie Wildcraft recommended for using to help strengthen the enamel on your teeth. And so that's why we bought these. So we've got that one and this one that have extra growth now, and the one over there. So that's really exciting. Anything to say?
Nope, just being a cleaning man today.
Here is the bottle of cuttings. I took 6 or 7 cuttings, and as you see, I've cut back the leaves. Rarely will you have 100% take on your cuttings. That's just part of it. So anyway, that's our method for our butterfly bush cuttings. In the next couple of weeks, we'll show them, see how they're doing, see if any of them have made roots, and then we'll show you potting up day. Tell everybody what you're doing, my love.
I am cleaning our rain catching buckets. if it hasn't rained in a while, they get dirt in the bottom of it, and so I'm just cleaning it and dumping it out so that when it rains, they'll fill back up with clean water. And we use this on with our animals to give them water.
And when did the weatherman say it's supposed to rain next?
Possibly tonight.
Possibly.
Into tomorrow morning.
Cool.
40% in Texas. That could mean 0 or 80. So.
You get what you get, huh?
Yep.
Tell everybody how it feels to be a year and a half. Yeah. And drinking out of your own cup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. There you go.
Awesome.
Can you get a drink?
And you said uh-oh tonight. You've been saying up, down, and oh, you said more today. Just growing.
Drink some water. Uh-oh.
Big
Good
boy.
job. Hey Cloud Hoppers, thanks for watching the video. Push the thumbs up to like the video. Also hit that subscribe button, also the bell, so that you can get notifications when our videos come out.
Check us out on our social media pages too. We have Facebook and Pinterest, and soon we'll have Instagram. The links are below. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Good job.